You are right up my street.
Oh, you can't make me choose.
I go by Toyota. Sponsors T4.
Fuck me, Lee Ryan's 13. I remember we couldn't remember the word for table.
This is Your Welcome America presents Chasing the Saturdays, episode 5.
In our ongoing mission to translate British-Irish pop culture for America, we're celebrating the 10-year anniversary of the e-reality show that follows British-Irish girl group, The Saturdays, as they kind of vaguely try to crack America.
This episode has it all. New York City, acoustic performances, and more Skype calls.
I am Ben.
I am Fraser.
Fraser Light Razor.
And this is Chasing the Saturdays. Woo!
Here we are, hashtag Sats in the City. Now, in the intro, I said, as they tried to vaguely crack America, because I was thinking about it today, as I was pottering around the house, it's not like they're there and it's like, right, endless promo, now we're going to go to this shoot, now we've got like radio promo, now we're on this road show. It's all very like, sitting by the pool.
Yeah, well, they can't
email.
They can't talk about the fact that the show is them trying to crack America, so it's kind of this strange, because that's what it is, right? It's like the show is meant to be introducing them, but they have to be doing something. So yeah, you're right, it's all very vague. Although at least we went to a record company this time.
That's something.
Scooter Braun. We'll get to him. We'll get to her later.
Okay, this opening scene I've described as closet fun.
Yeah, just like Sex and the City, the movie. We're in Carrie Bradshaw's closet having fun. But this time it's Vanessa.
So Vanessa, she's got some big white flares. And who's it? Molly and Frankie?
Yeah.
They're playing around in them, and they managed to... Did they manage to step in them so they're both in one leg each?
They did. Or as I like to think of these three, they're all three stooges of the group, these ones. Yeah, they managed to get into her pair of flares together, which is pretty good.
And Molly says, it's like a maxi dress.
I said, fun, in this moment. And then, because it was such a quick scene and I was so annoyed, and the music started for the credits, I said, there really isn't magic in this city, is there? There's magic in this city.
Don't want to wiggle go.
It's taken me this long to realize that's an album track from one of their albums.
Oh yeah, I found that when I was doing our Instagram posts. So this first real scene, what have you called it?
I actually have stopped naming scenes.
Oh, that's one of my favorite things. I've called it Getting Pampered with the Girlies.
I got really excited because it was the instrumental of 30 Days that took us to them getting mani-pedis. So I was pretty happy with that.
The 30 Days Marimba made an appearance.
And also, I didn't know if you noticed, but we saw a lot of horrible shoes in the little kind of package that took us to the pedicure place. There's lots of people crossing the street and just their feet, and there's just lots of really horrible shoes.
Oh, where are we?
We're at a mani-pedi place.
It's called Bella Cures.
I didn't see the name, but I do know that when Rochelle puts her feet in water, it makes her need a wee.
She's got tickly feet. Oh my god! Wait a minute. If she's got tickly feet, if she put her feet in water and there were fish in there nibbling her feet.
Those fucking fish things.
Fish pedicure.
We already did. Did we do that on the 24/7?
Yeah, 24/7. There's a fish pedicure.
Oh god, those fish pedicure are so. That is the most played out thing in the world. Never actually tried one though.
So Molly, they're all getting their tootsies done, their mani-pedis, and Molly's getting hers done, and she asks the person doing it, do many people choose this colour? And then, I don't know, they say something, and then Molly says, good choice, Molly.
Yeah, that was a weird moment. So,
sorry, cue Peter Lorraine.
Yeah,
cue Peter Lorraine.
PL,
Lorraine.
as I've just decided to start calling my notes.
If Lorraine, so go for Peter and walk into scene.
He trots in with a binder, some kind of leather binder, to go over the schedule, I think he says, for New York City.
Vanessa's never been.
I have to say, I don't remember, because there was no next time on. I didn't realize they were going to New York in this episode, and I did get a little lift. I was like, oh, okay, we're gonna not see downtown LA and like that one part of like Sunset that they're always on. So I was kind of excited. Yeah, and Vanessa's never been. They're going to be heading to their record label Mercury in New York because that's where the headquarters are. Quite a thin premise for a trip all the way to New York, but okay.
Yeah, they're going to go LA to New York and then to London. But I've got to ask you, what about baby girl Aoife Bell?
Yeah, let's get into some really riveting kind of travel plans for baby girl Aoife Bell. So yeah, Una said, so we're going from LA to New York back to London. And then she's like, oh, it's too much for little baby girl Aoife Bell. So what do they decide to do?
Una decides to fly her mammy and Aoife back to London first.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
But she, in a very real way, is like, oh, this is actually going to be my first time apart from her for like, is it like a week or 2 weeks?
I think so, yeah.
So she can't make the decision on the spot. So she has to think about it.
The plan is Anne's going to take, Mammy Anne is going to take baby girl Aoife Bell back to the UK where father/husband Ben is going to look after baby girl Aoife Bell. And they're all like, oh, you'll be so excited. He's not going to be excited.
No. How do you feel about the fact that he's called Ben?
I try and divorce it from me and my identity. Although I do enjoy a rugby player.
Yeah. He is also good looking. It's tough.
Yeah, but he's just so... So, we are going to launch into the next scene, which I've called First Skype of the Episodes.
We're back to Skype HQ. I just like to let that beat drop for a second. Oh, Rochelle and Marv are back on Skype again.
They are indeed. I actually recorded this scene. I sent it to you earlier just because... So Rochelle's in her laptop, which is a glittery black laptop case. Did you notice her desktop wallpaper?
No, I didn't. What was it?
So it looked like Italy, but like a function room in Italy. So it looked like Italy outdoors, but then like there were tables that looked like they were in a function room. So I was like, is that somewhere where they got married?
Yeah, it must be their wedding venue.
Yeah. So here's how that
function room is so mean.
Here's how that conversation starts with Marv over Skype.
Baby, you alright?
Yeah, how are you?
Yeah, I'm alright.
You alright? How are you? You alright?
Yeah, I'm alright.
Alright. Yeah. Sliding around the alrights.
So Marvin isn't happy.
You're not alright.
That house has fallen through.
And I just wrote,
She knew this.
thank fuck.
Yeah.
It was disgusting, that house.
Yeah. And we get some flashback footage of that horrible house. Although there's definitely some of, to use your favorite term, jiggery pokery happening here. Because in the preview of next week, they showed Rochelle house hunting and she was wearing the exact same outfit that she was wearing in the flashback footage of them looking at that house.
Because crucially, next week, is she wearing glasses?
She was, yeah.
Because she means business in this flashback, non-flashback footage. She's wearing glasses
Yeah.
because she's looking at a house.
Yeah. I need to confirm that, and we will obviously confirm that.
Well, we'll be able to
Next
confirm
week.
it by carbon dating the brick.
Yeah.
That brick-built house.
Yeah, what, 2000 when it was built.
Yeah, 2006 maybe.
And the house fell through, so they're not happy. And my final note was, wow, that scene was boring.
They're not all right. God, we got to pack for that trip. Got to pack for that trip to New York City.
So Una is getting baby girl Aoife Bell ready to fly, and she picks up a onesie that says "cute baby alert," and she says, "Oh, that'll be nice for the plane." Sure will.
Such a highlight of the episode for me, that one moment.
Me too. I actually rewound it because I wanted to make sure I got her wording right.
Yeah.
I also thought Una looked stunning in this kind of aquamarine blue dress that she was wearing. She looked great.
Oh, did it bring out her eyes?
Lovely for the eyes and the hair.
Oh,
that
yeah.
She looks good in a blue. She really does.
Big news. Anne's back. We haven't seen her since episode 1, but Mammy Anne, she's finally back.
Well, she agreed to be in the first episode, and this is her last episode, I bet. She was
okay.
And the way they filmed her in the car, she had to be in the shot. She's like, ugh, so annoyed. So I will tell you, at this point, the E! Entertainment ticker was going across the bottom of the screen. And I can tell you that when this was airing, Zero Dark 30 and Argo won the most awards at the Screen Actors Guild Awards.
SAG.
Really good. I was like,
Good to know.
yeah, good. Not seen Argo. Weirdly have seen Zero Dark 30. It was boring.
Oh no, wait a minute, that was the Charlize Theron movie.
No, Jessica Chastain, and it was about them capturing Bin Laden.
Oh, have not watched that.
So we get into the van to go to LAX. Quite a nice journey from downtown. Very simple. Just get on there. It's just 2 freeways.
Yeah, not too bad.
Not too bad.
I did note here that baby girl Aoife Bell has a really good side eye.
She does. It's also just really sweet because basically it's Anne and Una and baby girl Aoife Bell, but Vanessa has joined them to help Una kind of say goodbye, and it's very sweet. And it's actually, I thought like, oh, have they just like shoved ASATs with her? But actually, we found out later there's quite a connection between those two. So we'll get to that nickname.
Well, there would have to be a connection if you were gonna just go with someone to LAX, then come back.
Yeah.
What an annoying drive.
That's a really boring journey. One final note from the e-ticker at this point is that the movie Safe Haven, Julianne Hough and Josh how do you say his name? Duhamel. It made $21.5 million that weekend. Have you seen Safe Haven?
No, but that seems like a lot of money for the opening weekend.
Yeah. It's a really, really bad film.
Well, yeah, it's got, what's her face? in
Julianne
it?
Hough.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you a little bit about it.
Is she an actor?
I mean, she's in the movie. This movie is bananas. It basically is, it's kind of a Lifetime movie, but it's not a Lifetime movie, but it's got the budget of something much higher. So basically, Julianne Hough arrives in this like small town. She arrives on like a bus. She's an anonymous person in this small town that's, I think it's literally called Safe Haven or like Safe Harbor or Harbor Haven or something. Long story short, she just turns up in this town. No one knows who she is. She moves into this tiny house. Then she meets Josh Duhamel, and they kind of like start falling in love. Meanwhile, she's like escaping something, and I think she's like, it's implied that maybe she's murdered her husband or her ex-boyfriend.
Watch out, Josh.
Long story short, she befriends her next door neighbor, who's this woman, that woman that's from How I Met Your Mother and all the Marvel movies, Colby Smulders, whatever her name is. She befriends this woman, and this woman, I'm trying to do this as quick as possible. She befriends this woman. This woman's like really encouraging her romance with Josh Duhamel, this kind of stuff. We eventually find out that she ran away from her husband. She attacked him in self-defense, but he's still alive and chasing her. And then so like all of this stuff happens. And then in the final scene of the movie, they reveal that the woman she was talking to the whole time, her neighbor, is Josh Duhamel's dead wife's ghost who encouraged her to be in a relationship with him. Not one other aspect of the movie is supernatural, and you realize looking back that she was never in any scenes with anyone else. So she was just turned up at her house and she was like walking past with a bike, and then they ended up like talking about relationships. So she basically befriended her new boyfriend's ex-wife's husband's wife's ghost.
Whoa.
I didn't mean to tell you the exact plot of Safe Haven, but I had to get it out of my system.
It's okay, I'm never going to watch it.
As soon as I saw Safe Haven on the screen, I saw in my head me telling you and trying to do it as quick as possible, but it's a pretty good twist, right?
I mean, it's a twist. M. Night Shyamalan, you wanna?
Maybe he made that. Anyway, it made $21.5 million in the opening weekend.
Una's truly sad here. She's really upset. She's actually crying as Anne takes baby girl Aoife Bell up the escalator at LAX.
Yeah, this is rough. This is a real moment, but
you know what? We need to get to New York City and what were you gonna say?
I just want to make one final note. So Vanessa says, I'm going to help Una get through this trip to New York. And then my notes say, she's a good person. And then I just wrote, they all are.
Like you're arguing with
right,
yourself.
I was like, they're all really...
She's a good person. Actually, Fraser, they all are?
It was more like a realization. I was like, Vanessa's nice. I was like, they're all nice. Lovely gals. Okay, what's happening next?
Well, we're going to go to New York City with the song Go, Go, Go. It's time to blah, blah, blah. And we both up, New York.
It felt like a remix as well, wasn't it? It was even more bonkers than... That song's pretty bonkers as it is. And it's kind of a wall of noise, a real cacophony. But yeah, the up remix whooshes us around New York City. We suddenly see taxis, Central Park, Times Square... and then we fall on La Parker Meridian Hotel.
Yes, so this La Parker Meridian Hotel is mentioned many, many times. They definitely got a freebie. They got a trade out.
Definitely. Or trade out.
Trade out.
No, it's just funny hearing you say
Industry term.
Yeah. So Rochelle's excited because it's her first time in New York, and she trots up to her room. Who's bloody waiting for her?
Wait, why is there a man in her room? Get back! Oh no, it's only Marvin.
Everybody in love, could put your hands up.
All right.
Very sweet moment, but also...
I wrote, they're so sweet.
Yeah, but also the undercurrent of her saying there was literally a stranger in my room, so it was quite scary.
Yeah, she's like, I'm really glad you're here, but actually don't ever do that again
Yeah.
because it really fucking freaked me out.
But at least she had the camera crew. So imagine if he'd done that, or not, like truly surprised her, like she was just alone walking into a room and there was just a man in there. I think that would have been even more scary. At least with the camera crew, she knew she was safe.
I just wrote here, I bet they fuck immediately.
Oh yeah, like that wasn't a fake thing that they were doing where they were like rolling around on the bed. They were pretty much just like, get out. I've written maybe 5 or 6 times in my notes that Marvin and Rochelle are a gorgeous couple and I love them.
Yeah,
so that's the first time.
They're so good. Oh yeah, and doesn't someone say? No, Rochelle says to him, "You're naughty."
Yeah.
He says, "I know." Oh, I've written here the rooms are kind of shitty.
Yeah, I feel like New York's it's not the easiest to get a nice hotel in New York.
What?
I feel like the rooms are always really small in New York.
Yeah, but you can get really nice ones, or just nice ones.
Right. I don't know.
It felt like a clean, lower level 4-star hotel.
Right. Well, it's pretty much where they're at.
So, speaking of shitty rooms, what's going on in one of the other shitty rooms?
Yeah, Una's very sad, and we see her closing the curtains and getting under that heavy, yet probably very thin kind of top layer comforter thing on her bed. And I'm really worried about her because she's still got her heavy MacBook on her bed while she gets into bed.
I think it's hot.
And I'm worried about the heat, but also just kicking that off the bed because that is big. That's going to fall to the ground and shatter.
Una says, "I'm in my room. Everything is beautiful. This should be an amazing trip."
Yeah.
I'm also confused. There's only a 3-hour time difference between LA and New York, and yet she seems to be going for a nap in the middle of the day.
Hey, listen. Look, you love a nap. I love a nap.
That's true.
We get it. We understand her. Oh, God.
Well, it's a lot of people's first times in New York City, so we're going to have to be tourists.
Yeah, so why not go to the epicenter of hell that is Times Square?
Yeah.
So it's all the gals minus Una, and plus Marv. Marv is taking Una's place on the acoustic guitar. Oh, we get to see the naked cowboy. Fun.
Does the naked cowboy still exist? Naked cowboy. It says he's not dead, so
That's not the same
something.
naked cowboy that was on the original naked cowboy. Is not the same one that was on the show. I thought that I just made a note of I thought Molly looked very chic in her New York outfit. She was wearing like a pair of olive trousers with like a crisp white shirt. She just looked very relaxed and easy, and I was like, oh, Molly. Put Molly in a crisp white shirt. She's a real gal that could pull that off, isn't she?
We get a voiceover line from Vanessa out of nowhere. "I'm loving my life. It's exactly what I thought it would be." It's like, oh, great. That's very positive. I love that. But
Pieced together from 5
Yeah.
years of footage yet again. So we swing back to the hotel very quickly to see Una on Skype with Ben and baby Aoife Bell.
Yeah. Or as Ben calls her, Aoife Bells.
Yeah.
Plural.
Not much to say about this scene, really, is there?
Well, except the fact that Una puts on a crazy killer Chucky voice when speaking to baby girl Aoife Bells. She's like,
Hello, Ep5. It's Mammy here in New York City.
it's like, what?
You sound like a Star Wars character.
She says it's so sad. She says every time she hears a baby cry, she thinks it's Aoife.
Oh, yeah. And then he, in classic supportive Ben style, she goes, "Oh, I've just had enough and I really want to come home." And he just goes, "Oh." And like cut the scene. I was like, wow, that is harsh. All this walking around. I'm hungry. Should we get some dinner?
Let's get some dinner.
Should we go to Beacon? The Beacon restaurant? Is that where we should go?
Is that what it was called? Okay, let me just see if it's still open. Beacon Restaurant, New York City, NYC. Oh, looks like I've already Googled it. Permanently closed.
Permanently closed. Well, the gals really shut it down. So Peter Lorraine is saying that at the record label, they want them to do an acoustic performance. And he says to Una, "You brought your guitar with you, didn't you?"
Of course she fucking did.
And they're like, "Well, what should we sing?" And what do they decide on? The best song of the catalogue.
Chasing Light.
Go on, go on. Go on, go on, go on. Bye bye.
Although as I found on YouTube, they've done every single one of their songs acoustic, even all fired
True.
up.
But I think of Chasing Lights as the true Saturday's acoustic song, mainly
Yeah.
because that's what we saw. So I was very excited to be hearing that song, for real.
But meanwhile, there's something else going on. It's Fashion Week, isn't it?
Yeah, and there's a brand called Millie.
Not the cookies.
Not the cookies, not my friend Millie, not Millie McIntosh from Made in Chelsea,
Oh, yeah. Millie.
not Millie Bobby Brown.
No.
Fair enough. So apparently it's Fashion Week, New York Fashion Week, and they're going to go and watch the Millie fashion show, and they've reached out and said like that they can have some of their clothes as well.
That's fun. Do you know what? There's a few other things I want to do while I'm in town because I've never been here before. What should we do?
Yeah, Roche wants to do the Sex and the City tour.
The Sats in the City tour.
I was about to say by accident. Do you notice how much of a bananas necklace Rochelle was wearing in this scene?
What was she wearing?
It was like a cluster of like crystal flowers of all different colors, like all quite like around the throat. It wasn't like a line. It wasn't like a line on a chain. They were like very much in the style of the Egyptian treasures. It was all kind of clumped at the throat. Very avant-garde look for Rochelle.
Wow.
God, I bet they would have, those gals would get a real fucking kick out of the Sex and the City tour, wouldn't they?
They would act out scenes.
Yeah, completely. The thought of them sitting at Magnolia Bakery and having a cupcake and then, sitting outside of Carrie's steps and getting shouted at by the owner of the apartment.
Sorry. Okay. We got to do Fashion Week. We're in town. We're in New York City. Let's do it. So they go to the Millie fashion show. I've written in uppercase letters here, Una, you're at Fashion Week.
Look alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's sad, and Vanessa keeps kind of pointing out, Una's not quite here.
Yeah.
She's going to do something to cheer her up later on, though.
She is. We'll get
to that.
Get to that.
That nuanced piece of footage.
So they're at front row at the Millie fashion show, and they're watching some shit clothes go down the runway that look like they're from Mango.
I have to say, I did a turn in one sentence here. I said, "What the fuck is this brand?" To be fair, they would wear a lot of these dresses.
Yeah. And I looked it up now. It still exists.
Oh.
And some of their new clothes look quite nice.
Great. Well, so it was just the 2000 and whatever of it all, I guess, wasn't it?
2013 collection wasn't so good. That weird music that was playing, it was like a kind of Daft Punk rip-off vocoder music
Oh,
thing.
like library
going on.
music. Not like you with you've got a fashion runway show like playlist ready to go at all times,
It's
haven't
just
you?
all uppercase. It's called Fashion Show, just in case.
And as for, in my recollection of hearing some of it, it's all kind of as if it was on. Was it the clothes show?
So,
The
some
Jeff Banks and Selena, whatever her name is, on the clothes show.
Some of it definitely is 90s.
Yeah.
I hope we're going to remember this fashion show. And I know Millie, I know Molly is, because she's recording it on her BlackBerry.
Would love to see that footage today, Molly's Millie footage.
Well, talking of Millie Molly, should we meet the designer of Millie? Her name's Michelle.
Oh, so Molly meets Michelle, who actually designs for Millie.
Yes, not Millie's cookies.
And they can all take an outfit each. Great. Whatever. We're really flying. We're doing a lot in New York. None of it's interesting, but we are doing a lot. So I feel just volume wise quite satisfied so far. So we get to gaze upon the beauty that is Marvin and Rochelle, or just Marv and Roche, as I'm calling them now, and they're going to go on a lovely date.
Can we talk through their outfits?
Okay, I said they look very cute. Marvin is in a lovely tartan jacket.
It's tight. It's very
A
form-fitting.
very form-fitting tartan jacket and a tight trouser. And Rochelle's in a lovely crisp white shirt, very Molly, and a electric blue trouser. Very fun look.
Looks like she's wearing a Hermes belt and bright red stilettos.
Yeah, she looks fantastic.
She's definitely thought to herself, do you know what? Carrie Bradshaw wears stilettos. That's all I'm going to wear I'm only going to wear heels in New York.
And then there's a great line from Rochelle where they sit down at the restaurant, look out the window, and she goes, "Oh, this looks just like London, doesn't it?"
Yeah, this bit's a bit like London.
Yeah, it's a bit like London. It's like, what, Soho and Soho look the same. Because they do.
They have a really boring couple's dinner.
Oh, it's so boring. I don't, my notes really are, I just said, they talk about not seeing each other. Good God, they're a gorgeous couple.
and they have some edamame, and Marv says one of his favorite lines, according to Rochelle, which is, Everything happens for a reason.
Ah, classic Marv.
You love that line.
Really good wisdom. And then they're kind of just talking about losing the house, and I really wanted to reach into the screen and just like grab them both and say, and like tell them how gorgeous their current house is in 2023 and how like beautiful their children are, and be like, everything's gonna be fine, guys.
Yeah.
You guys are probably the most successful people from this show still, and have a lovely life. And I love looking at content of you painting your nails, Rochelle.
Yeah, and in fact, Rochelle they were just in bloody Dubai watching Beyonce.
There you go.
Wearing like evening gowns.
Yep.
They're good. So, Vanessa said she's going to cheer up Una. So she takes her on like a day out and a night. Well, it starts as a day out, doesn't it?
A day to night transition. Actually, it's quite fun. You see the two of them trotting down the street in New York, and they kind of stop at a cafe bar to have a glass of wine. And Una's really taken with the glassware. It's a funny looking glass, isn't it?
It's a stemless,
wine glass. Where's the stem? That's a funny looking glass, isn't it? I guarantee she has some stemless wine glasses now in 2023.
I did wonder. I wonder when the first time I encountered a stemless wine glass.
I can't. It was in East London for sure.
I don't like a stemless wine glass.
Me neither. I feel very like OC housewife in the sense that I just want it to get bigger and bigger and bigger, not smaller and stemless.
Yeah.
Bigger stem, bigger glass. I'm not a fan of stemless. There's just, if you've lived in East London or East LA, there's only so many restaurants you can go to with no lighting, candles on the table, paper menu, and stemless wine glasses. It all starts to blur into one thing. Although I do like all of those places that we go to, but you know. Anyway, this is where we get into some real deep sats history and lore that we haven't learnt before. Una and Vanessa were party friends back in the day before Una had a baby. What did they call themselves, Ben?
They called themselves Fierceness. Fierceness. Because I'm fierce and she's Ness.
And she's Ness. Strange. I get the Ness part, obviously, because that's her name, but I guess they had to reverse engineer it back from Ness, didn't they?
Yeah.
So Una could have been happy, and then could be called Happiness. That would have kind of made more sense. Fierce is that word, it really sends a chill down my spine.
No.
But at this point, Vanessa says she wants to take her out and get drunk again like the old days to kind of cheer her up. And they talk more about being party buddies. And I said, I'm a big fan of this pairing. I like it.
That'd be a fun night out.
Yeah, I'd be really happy to go on a night out with those two.
Yeah, Una says, since becoming a parent, she doesn't want a hangover, but, baby girl Aoife Bell's in her father's arms right now, so she can do it.
And those big, boring arms.
What else is going on across
God.
town?
That gorgeous, gorgeous couple, Marvin and Rochelle, are about to have a picnic in Central Park, and Marvin quite rightly points out, "Oh, this park is so big, isn't it?" Thanks, guys. keeping the UK abreast of what's going on in New York.
And then he gives her a non-surprise, non-treat, which is, hey, just so you know, when we get back to London, we're going to look at houses. And the music suggests it's as if, like, some massive resolutions happened.
It's like, hey, after we've done that transatlantic flight, we're going to go and look at houses. Okay. Great.
No, Marv, I'm only back for like a couple of days. Yeah. I don't actually want to do that.
I love house hunting when I'm completely jet lagged and insane.
My question is, where are Frankie and Molly?
They must have got paid a half rate for this episode because they're barely in it. Apart from obviously when we get to the record company. So a gorgeous Kesha sound-alike from the music library transitions us from day to night. It's very much like, wake up in the evening feeling like LL Cool J. I really struggled to change the words for that one.
Clip, clop.
Yeah, so we see Fierceness trotting down the sidewalk to a bar. They sit down at the bar. Now, this bar...
Okay, they're in the 40-40 club. Well, let's talk about their drinks first.
I couldn't make hide nor hair of it on this low quality Vimeo.
It looks like Vanessa has a vodka Diet Coke going on, and Una has a sort of peachy looking cocktail in a tumbler. My other note here is Una's blue eyes are very M3gan here.
Yes, yeah, she's at peak M3gan at this point.
Now tell me about this club and who's at this club.
So this place appears to be, well, for majority of the scene, this place is completely empty. They're sitting at a completely empty bar, like just kind of chit-chatting and shooting the breeze and, discussing the glassware probably. Well, there's a funny looking glass over here too, Vanessa. Isn't that funny? And then we get this kind of transition from, they kind of are like, they basically have the conversation of like, oh, Vanessa's like, you got to do something for you. Like, it's time to let loose and have fun. And I think they like take a shot.
Woo!
Then all of a sudden we got into what I described as some very nuanced camera work here. We're working very hard to make it appear like they're out in a club. I believe they're at a bar with 7 people.
I think what's happened is they've hired out a club at 7 p.m.
Yeah.
And they've got it until 10 p.m. before it becomes an actual club.
Right.
And so they're having drinks, and then they bring in 8 extras.
Yeah.
They put them, and I do think the girls are drunk.
Yes, I don't think that part was fake.
But they put them on this fake dance floor,
Yeah.
and then they do a lot of close-up whooshing shots.
Yeah, there's some really intense in and out zooms, which we discussed on the All Saints episode. This actually felt like the Lady Marmalade 98 version
Yes,
video. It
yeah.
was like zoom in, zoom out, shot. At some point, Una knocks a glass out of Vanessa's hand.
Well, do you know why? It's stemless. She's got nothing to hold on
She's
to.
like, oh, that's that funny glass again. I'm throwing it on the floor. But they do seem actually drunk.
Yeah.
And there's an incredibly sweet moment. They stumble out of the bar and Una's trying to teach Vanessa how to say I love you in Irish. And they're like clinging onto each other walking down the street. And I thought that was...
Clip, clop, clip,
I
clop.
really did think, like we said earlier, like I'd be happy to go on a night out with the two of them.
Crash bang next morning.
I mean, what the fuck? This editing, like, most of the time we've had just a straight up, docu-series. This was like a full on, like, punchline that they did, wasn't it? It was like, it was really good. They were just like, they're like, oh, I love you, having the best time ever. We just smash cut into Vanessa in a robe, wearing sunglasses, talking about what she ordered for breakfast.
It's all coming back.
In it.
So they're in their room having room service. Tell you what, being hungover and getting room service,
It really is the pinnacle of life.
that is the dream. But Una doesn't like American food. She does
she
say,
does. So she wants some black pudding.
oh yes, and some baked beans maybe.
I bet, yeah, that she doesn't feel like she considers breakfast to not be breakfast without that. I get it. There's sometimes a sweetness to American breakfast that can be a little overwhelming if you don't order right, Mm-hmm. Some people go a bit crazy for pancakes and that starts to get a little like
No,
sickly after a while.
Pancakes should be on the side. Order pancakes
Yeah.
to the table. Some side pancakes.
Well, pancakes and true breakfast. I feel like pancakes are more of they're better with brunch anyway. I think starting to a bit later in the day. I find pancakes pre 10 a.m. a little intense.
oh, I'm good with them.
They talk about Vanessa talks about how she should have ordered vodka to come to the room. And Una grabs her and goes, that's right, hair of the dog. And she's like really intense. I was like, whoa.
And then Una falls back and hits her head on.
Go on, go on, go on.
It's her guitar case.
I've been doing it my way. I will. Speaking of that guitar case and the song Chasing Lights,
They're gonna have to get it together.
they better get it together because we're going to head to the Mercury office to do a performance for record execs. Vanessa's not worried. I can tell you that much in the van. She's not worried at all.
And who's gonna be there? Look, record execs, Scooter Braun.
Yeah, lots of white men and then Scooter Braun.
Ugh.
Now, I had a strange moment because I looked at Scooter Braun and I was like, ugh, disgusting. And I looked at his Instagram and it was disgusting. It's him just doing very, just that bullshit word salad thing that people do when they're kind of religious, but also, just what I'm talking about, where they just go and it was all clips of him on podcasts being like, I realized the other day that actually if I don't feel the potential in myself, then my self is actually not self-actualized. And the host is like, It's like, you're just both talking shit to each other, just like us. Anyway, then I had the damning and horrible realization that Scooter Braun looks like a lot of men that I've been in love with. And I was quite upset when I made that revelation.
Yes, but
He looks like everyone.
But those men didn't have the name Scooter. The name Scooter.
I think his real name is Scott.
Oh, what? So now he's like a man in his 40s who still has the
Yeah.
nickname Scooter.
Yep.
Fuck off.
Yeah, I don't. Listen. I wasn't saying I like him. I'm just telling you. Unfortunately, like a Caucasian man with a big chin. That's what happens, you know?
Go. Okay,
Well-
so the gals get their shit together
Yeah.
and they trot out and sit on some stools.
Where did we think this was? I think this is some kind of breakout dining area, like the corporate canteen.
Yeah, it's where you might have the, back in the day pre-COVID, the all hands meeting.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't a conference room, but it wasn't a... It was something in between. That it was an all-purpose area that's used for like when they have like lame company drinks for Mercury. That's why they have them.
Yeah.
And there was like a few shoddy things like stuck up on the wall behind them.
Yeah, there was the 5 of them sitting there, and then on an easel there was a picture of the 5 of them. It's like, but they're already there. What? What's going on?
And they were quite right. I think it was Molly said where she's like, "Oh, this is more intense than I realized." She wasn't wrong. The kind of shot of like the crowd that they were in, it was quite like intimidating.
Yeah.
Because everyone looked very stone faced. There wasn't much like. Didn't feel like a lot of goodwill radiating out towards them from that crowd.
That crowd didn't seem fun.
No, not at all. Not at all.
And so Rochelle, I think, says to them, "We're going to do some acoustic stuff today because a lot of stuff we normally do is dancey." Huh?
And then Molly follows it up with one of the most enthusiastic things I've ever heard. So we're going to be doing Chasing Lights. You know, we like the harmonies in it and everything. So that's why we're doing it. she literally just trails off, and then they just cut into them singing. And I just wrote, "Get it, Vanessa." She's doing some really good drama voice. I've been doing it my way, highway.
I've written here, Vanessa's definitely had her hair done.
She has. She looks good.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about the pulleys and the ropes in that hair anymore.
Well, that's actually why they went to New York.
Yeah. And then Una we had a voiceover from Una talking about how she's actually like really proud of herself, that she's kind of getting through the New York trip and all this kind of stuff. And a lovely cutaway to her part of the performance where I wrote, "Get it, Una."
Yeah, I don't remember that part of the performance at all.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, oh, Una's got a lovely big solo
Yeah.
here. Here we are.
And I felt like they cut away to some of the execs were like a bit more like, "Oh, she can play that guitar."
Yeah,
a little more cred.
They're legit, these gals.
And then the song finishes and Vanessa just really goes for it. She's just like, "Go on, go on, go on, bye, bye, ha, ha, hoo, hoo, ha, ha, hoo, yeah, yeah, yeah." It's like, okay.
Meanwhile, Scooter Braun sitting slumped in a chair,
Yeah.
arms folded, looking as if he's, I don't know, at a family event he doesn't want to be at.
Yeah, I was very unnerved by Scooter Braun for all of the reasons above and the real reasons as well. I mean, they did it. The gals did New York. I mean, short of going on a horse and carriage ride, they did everything, the most boring things you could do in New York. They made New York they made one of the most exciting cities in the world pretty boring.
Yeah, they
and I
did.
love them for that. That's our gals. I wouldn't want it any other way. I really wouldn't. I'm being serious.
We don't get a button, do we?
No.
No
We just know that we're going to go back to London.
But wait a minute, maybe that's because last episode there were 4 buttons.
Yeah.
They used them up.
They really, yeah, that's just so true. You've got to have time to whip those buttons back up again. We did get a preview this time.
Next on.
There was a very strange scene at the beginning of Next On. Is it that they made it appear that Frankie sets up Molly with Calvin from S Club Juniors and then ditches them to make it an official date?
Yeah.
I was like, how bizarre. Very excited to see Calvin again, though.
Is Calvin gay? No, one of the
No.
others was gay.
No, 2 of the others, the other 2 guys are gay, and
Oh,
Calvin was the straight
isn't.
one.
Got
Yeah,
it. We definitely get a shot of London Heathrow
we do.
and a shot of some very British-looking fans. Just gonna say that.
Yeah, we get the suspicious footage of Rochelle searching for a house. Which one's the lie? Is that next week or was the one we just watched? We'll find out next week.
We'll look out for that brickwork.
And Ben's injured.
He's got ruptured ligaments.
Yeah.
And then Una says, "I feel really bad leaving you now." And Ben says, "Well, don't go then." Oof.
Ben, you douchebag.
What a horrible man.
So, I mean, Sats in the City is a great hashtag.
Oh my god, I didn't come up with another one. Maybe Sats in the City is.
I think
it's got to be Sats in the City.
I think we have to give it to them this time. It's actually pretty good.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. Now, how are we rating it this episode?
So I double checked just to make sure that we're not going to run out of people. We've actually got an excess of men from the Gentleman song that we can rate the song out
Okay,
of.
cool.
And so far, just to keep you up to speed, we've rated Larry King's, Kellen Lutz's, Denzel Washington's, and Robert Pattinson's.
Okay.
I decided we're going to rate this episode out of Obama's.
Oh.
Remember that he was in the song? They rhyme Obama with Mama.
My
I want to.
Obama.
Yeah, they're like, take him home to mama. I want to find my Obama. I was like, girls, you've done it again.
I'm going to give this episode a solid 3 Obamas.
Oh, you see, this one, because do you remember we gave 4 stars to another episode and we were like, this was actually pretty good. I actually think this was a true 4-star episode and it's going to bump the other one down to 3. Was I perhaps a little bamboozled and bedazzled by being in a different city? Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going 3.5 Obamas.
Yeah, but I liked the drinking. I liked realness from Una. I liked the acoustic performance of Chasing Lights. That's going to always get me up another point. So I'm giving this one 4 Obamas out of 5.
Okay.
And just know we have still got a ragtag list of men to choose from, including George Clooney and Lamar Odom.
Lamar Odom. Well, thank you for listening as ever. You get an episode of Chasing the Saturdays every week.
Yep.
You get regular You're Welcome America every other week.
You're welcome, Prime.
You're welcome, Prime. And for now, thank you for listening and you're welcome.
Bye.
You are right up my street.
Oh, you can't make me choose.
Igo by Toyota sponsors T4.
Fuck me, Lee Ryan's 13.
Marlene.
I remember we couldn't remember the word for table.